You are listening to the Postcast, presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and, of course, the Glebe Central Pub. Make sure to check out the Glebe Central Pub, our bar in the heart of the Glebe at 779 Bank Street, and let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. On game days, you will get 10% off your order and the shuttle. Send shuttle typically, but this month it's the Team Canada Shuttle All-World Junior Games, $20 round trip, thanks to our friends at the GCP. I'm Ross Levitan, and I am joined by a man in the rink, Brandon Piller, live from Calgary at the Saddle Dome after the Sens get a 3-2 overtime win. Brady Tkachuk gets his tooth knocked out, 9 stitches, and Pilsy, you got to see him put this game to bed in overtime.
Oh, it was absolutely amazing. I mean, they're cleaning his tooth off the ice right now, but it doesn't matter when you get the 2 points, baby. That's hockey, baby. And Linus Ullmark, my guy, you guys know I'm rocking the Linus Ullmark away jersey right now. He gets the assist on it and so much more. An incredible performance from Linus Ullmark. And Ross, we talked about the Alberta beef line in today's episode of the Locked On Senators podcast, and Ridley Gregg came through shorthanded. I had a perfect view of that goal from right here, so shout out Rids. And this whole team just keeps things going. A 5-game win streak. It feels good, Ross. I don't get a lot of wins on the road when I'm here without you, so it's awesome to get the win here.
This game was Brady Tkachuk personified, and we'll get into it plenty, but the high stick he took from Mikael Backlund, nothing, wasn't he was trying to hurt him, but it was egregiously high, fast. He was trying to get a stick lift, takes out the tooth, gets it stitches. He misses the 4-minute power play. Ottawa had nothing really going on that man advantage, but I tweeted it out. Someone said, it was our guy, Laleem's Martian, said, Amazon signed a guy who won't be able to talk for about a month, sick signing. And I said the Amazon storyline is that Brady Tkachuk scores the winner in this game. Now, did I think it would take overtime? No. But when it got there, you knew it was going to be Brady Tkachuk, his 10th career overtime winner. From where I was looking, it might have been a Lionel Messi kicked in, but hey.
No. If they allowed that Flames goal, then we're playing soccer on ice here. That goal counts. Flames fans were trying to get that under review. No chance. That's a good goal. And I think he kind of kicked it up and then whacked it with his stick too. So let's call that the winning touch there.
Just sick hand-eye, right, from Brady Tkachuk? What was your experience in the rink tonight, Pilsy?
Oh, it was awesome. This is actually a pretty cool barn. I mean, old barn for sure, but nothing Sens fans aren't used to. But the saddle shape is pretty awesome. It was pretty lively in here. It was a packed house. And, I got to check out the locker rooms for morning skate today. That was awesome. Shout out Ian Mendez for giving me that opportunity. And, it's been a great time here in Calgary, especially when they get the win, Ross. It's a lot better.
And I heard one player came by to say what up to you. Who was that?
It was one player, and that was Captain Brady Tkachuk. He saw me in the scrum. He comes over, gives me a little wink, shakes my hand, and says, "Good to see you, pal." And he had to get going on the bus there on a tight schedule. So that was that little wink that he gave me was probably the best he's going to be looking in the next couple of weeks, because that looked tough. What'd you say, Ross? 9 stitches and 1 tooth gone?
Yeah, that's what he told Kenzie Lalonde after the game. He goes into the interview, and right when he sees himself in the monitor, he goes, "Oh, that's a face for radio, eh?"
Oh, what a guy.
What an absolute beauty. Brady Tkachuk gets the winner, and it happened to be on his 4th shot of the game. You over shots on goal bettors like myself tonight. You'll love to see that. Pilsy, we're a goalie-friendly show, though. You got Ullmark's name on the back of your jersey. Not only the saves he made, 12 out of 13 saves in the third period to keep this thing tied. How nerve-wracking was that one with 4 seconds left? A bouncing puck. You're like, what's going to happen when it lands? And he's calm as a cucumber, playing the game in a rocking chair. But what I want to tee you up for, how about the save and the pass in overtime? Linus Ullmark gets a secondary assist, his first point as an Ottawa Senator.
What an absolute legend. And I think the thing that's funniest about that, Ross, is standing right beside him is defenseman Jake Sanderson, and Sandy's like, "What are you doing? Like, let me sauce this up to Timmy real quick." Ullmark's like, "Look, I can score. I can also get long stretch pass assists that lead to overtime game-winning goals." So Ullmark, he was not about to let Sandy touch that puck, and you got to love that confidence. That's a guy that's very confident right now, and he's basically unstoppable. Getting saves, getting points. What can't this guy do?
Well, he's got a goal in his resume. I'd like to see
Yep.
one. How about Saturday? Hey, let's go. Let's have fun. Let's get Linus Ullmark a goal on Saturday.
Yeah, Ross, there is no point in being conservative anymore. Yeah, let's get our goalies scoring goals here, too.
5th straight win for the Ottawa Senators. Funny enough, Pillsy, you and I were boots on the ground the last time the Senators got their 5th straight win. That was last spring in Winnipeg. But like I said on the show this morning, that was when things were already so far out of reach. It was like, oh, we're just going to ruin the draft pick. But not now. The Senators, again, Pittsburgh's been buzzing. They've been playing well. They get the win tonight in overtime, so they jumped over Ottawa in the standings. I know there's games in hand, but then, boom, you get back to Ottawa doing their thing, winning like there's they show the graphic now 2 games in a row, the longest road trips in Sens history. They've been 8 and they've been 7 games, Pills. And what Ottawa's been able to do already 2 games into this trip, they've got more wins than they've had on any of those 6 or 7 game trips. They were all 1-6, 1-7. Now the Senators start this franchise record 9-game road trip with 2 consecutive wins, and they didn't have it tonight. They did not have it tonight. This was not a crispy performance. You obviously didn't hear it on the broadcast, but in the second intermission, Nick Cousins said it was sleepy out there. That's how he felt. How'd it look from the crowd?
Yeah, I don't know if it was sleepy in here, but certainly, Ross, this was not a performance where the Ottawa Senators were just dominating right through. It was a bit of a back-and-forth game. The Nick Cousins fight gave the building a little bit of energy. The goal being possibly allowed, possibly disallowed, that gave a jump in the crowd too. But there was a surprising amount of Ottawa Senators fans here, a bunch of beauties, and it was great to see. So all the Sens fans that came and said what up to me, thank you for that. And yeah, I'm about to get kicked out here, Ross, but I want to say one last thing. Shout out to Kenzie Lalonde for giving us a shout out and finding me on the TSN camera. I was with her on the morning skate today, and it was awesome to get that shout out. So thank you very much to Kenzie, friend of the show.
Do you not have a press pass from this morning?
No, I didn't get a press pass this morning. I was just faking it till I was making it, Ross. I was trying not to get in the way, trying not to look too out of place. So they did not give me the press pass.
Brandon Piller, final question from me here. Thanks for joining us today on Locked On Senators. How many Sens fans were in attendance? We got a lot of boots on the ground picks. Was it a decent roar when Ottawa got goals?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And when you were walking around the concourse, like there was a lot of Sens jerseys, a lot of beauty ones too, some Alfies, some Heatleys, some Chris Neils. So you can tell there's some real Sens fans out there, whether they made the trip like me or they're locals in the area, I'm not sure. But there was a good Sens presence, and the Ottawa Senators, and of course, their captain, Brady Tkachuk, sends them home happy. So I'm fired up right now, Ross. As you know, I was battling today. Credit to me, battling a hangover. I got the waters going, but I feel rejuvenated now after that win.
Well, Sens Burner says you're too articulate. Go have a few cold ones. Go Sens, go Pilsy. We'll talk about this more. We're recording bright and early, so I need your A game tomorrow, pal.
Yep.
We'll see you bright and early. Thanks for jumping on, man, and go have yourself a night and tell Simone everyone says go Sens, go.
All right, thanks, buddy. Thanks to everyone in the chat, and have a good postcast. Enjoy the vibes. It's a vibecast.
Oh, we got lots more vibes. There goes Brandon Piller, co-host here at Locked On Senators. I don't know if people noticed or if it even got pulled up there, but his name is still #1 Ullmark fan, as it should be tonight. Sens fan and Van writes in. We love hearing from Sens fan and Van. Yvonne and Anthony, they'll be at the game in Vancouver on Saturday. Yvonne will be joining us on the postcast for a Boots on the Ground report. Not quite a fluke game, but arguably so. Permanent damage and an OT goal and an interview legend in the making. Pilsy will give you a more detailed narrative tomorrow. Spearman asked Pilsy, will he be in Vancouver? No, he won't. He's a one and done on this one. The next time LOSP will be boots on the ground will be me next Saturday, not this upcoming one, but the next one right after Christmas. First game back, I will be here in Winnipeg, where Ottawa has 2 out of 3 wins since I've moved here for our boots on the ground. I guess, well, plus a preseason game, but that won't count. You might remember that preseason game, though. Ridley Gregg goes between the legs and then backhand, then he got kicked out 2 minutes later. So Buck writes in, the Ottawa Senators have a higher points percentage than the Boston Bruins. Yeah, they lost in overtime tonight. Oh, boy. That's going to be a good race. And I like how we're looking at the teams ahead, not behind for the Ottawa Senators right now. Love to see that here as the Senators have won 5 straight games. Let's take a look at how this one unfolded. Ottawa scores not first. For the first time in 7 games, Ottawa allows the first goal. It was Blake Coleman on a bang-bang rebound play. They got caught out for way too long there. Travis Hamonic was on the ice for 1 minute and 55 seconds. Norris misses his coverage in front, and it was an easy banged-in rebound 12 minutes into this game. And I tweeted out, look, I'm tweeting out when the Sens score first, and I'll tweet out when the other team scores first. The Ottawa Senators have not had success when allowing the first goal so far this season. The Ottawa Senators are, I've got it right here, they are 2-11-2 going into tonight when allowing the first goal. But funny enough now, they're 2-0 against Calgary when allowing the first goal. One of those wins was against the Flames a couple Mondays ago, the game that started this 9-2-1 streak. Now, after that goal, Calgary owned all the pressure. The Sens were icing the puck. The Flames had 9 straight shots, including that goal. But what a lucky bounce, a blocked shot that just stopped right in the slot, and Nick Cousins made no mistake with 1 minute left in the first period. Jake Sanderson gets the assist. So too does Travis Hamonic there, and then Cousins had a sick block right at the end of the period to preserve the tie going into intermission. In the second period, I don't know if this was accountability or just a different look. I mentioned Norris missed his coverage on that goal in the first. Well, in the second, Tim Stützle jumped onto that top line with Brady Tkachuk and Drake Batherson. Tkachuk got a real nice look early in the period. Nick Jensen fed him a stretch pass, and then it was the Linus Ullmark show after that. This guy is just kicking him out, making it look so easy. The Sens, I felt, were kind of playing with that same panic that they did against San Jose, if you remember, where they just flip it out and either ice it or just regroup, defend, repeat. Flip it out, defend, and repeat. Then Ottawa got their first power play of the game. They got some decent pressure, but now, and look, we're not going to nitpick the negatives here when the Senators have won 5 in a row like they have, but the power play was 0 for 7 coming into this game, and they went 0 for 3. The other 2 coming on that double minor where they don't have Brady Tkachuk, their number 1 net front guy. So you are going to miss out some opportunity there. All in all, it was a scoreless second period. So no harm, no foul, tight checking. We got the Nick Cousins fight as well. So he finishes 1 assist shy of a Gordie Howe hat trick. And in the third period, I felt like Ottawa was again on their heels a little bit too much. They take a penalty, but we get a short-handed goal. Ridley Gregg gets an interception at the offensive blue line, takes it in, gets one whack, stopped, but follows it up with his own rebound and gets the goal. Ridley Gregg finally gets back on the board. It's his 3rd goal of the season, unassisted, but on the same penalty kill. Jonathan Huberdeau backdoor on the power play from Coronado and Zary. And this one was a review, but not a challenge, which I was a bit surprised at. I was like, do you challenge this one? Because if it doesn't go your way, you get the shorthanded opportunity again, and it doesn't get any better. But it was an official review, and it was a pretty quick one. They determined that there was no kicking motion, so it was tied again at 2. And the Senators, I felt like they just managed the game from there. You could tell both teams being in different conferences. It was just a matter of let's get this game to overtime and see who's going to get the last one in the back of the net. So it gets to overtime, and the first opportunity is against Ottawa. It was a 3-on-2 rush. They get a good opportunity. Ullmark goes down, but pops right back up, fires a beautiful 2-line pass over to Tim Stützle in on a 2-on-1. And the whole time, I'm sure I'm not alone here, the whole time I'm yelling, shoot the puck, Timmy. Don't look for the extra pass. Shoot the puck. And he does. And we get the rebound pass for Brady Tkachuk. Makes no mistake there. And he wins this game. I don't know if you guys saw as well, his celebration was so awesome, throwing his stick up and then making sure that it went to a Senators fan in the front row. And Brady Tkachuk is the captain of the Ottawa Senators for a reason. Swanky Pants writes in, here's to anyone who had the audacity to think that Brady was unworthy of leading this team. What an absolute beast. Thank you for the vibes. Thank you for the vibes, Swanky Pants. We appreciate a couple shekels in the guitar case. We've always been Brady Tkachuk guys. Just listen to the intro of the Locked On Senators podcast. So it's a matter of will and a way. And tonight, the Ottawa Senators got both with Brady Tkachuk leading the way offensively. His goal to win this one was the 16th of the season for him. Tim Stützle, 27th assist, and Linus Ullmark, as I mentioned with Pilsy right off the top, gets another assist in this one. We got Sen Central standouts to come. I'm riding solo for the rest of this one. Got some people asking Martian or Jack. Those guys are doing Christmas things, and we respect the hell out of them for it. But I got you covered here with Sen Central standouts. Maybe I'll throw the link over, see if we can get Kenzie or else on the postcast tonight. Maybe Julian McKenzie was at the game tonight. Maybe I can get Julian on. That could be some fun. But in the meantime, let me tell you about the Glebe Central Pub. The postcast is always brought to you by the Glebe Central Pub, your home in the heart of the Glebe at 779 Bank Street. And when you head there, make sure you let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. The GCP, the vibes are free. And over at the GCP, we've got great food, awesome drinks, and an atmosphere to match. So at the GCP, you can also go online, GlebeCentralPub.com. And at the GCP, they've got the shuttle going for all Team Canada games at the World Juniors. $20 round trip at the GCP website. And we're not kidding when we say the postcast would not exist without the Glebe Central Pub. So head to where the vibes are free at the GCP and let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. And on game days, you'll get 10% off your first order. That is at the Glebe Central Pub. Support us by supporting the Glebe Central Pub. Today's episode is also brought to you by Prize Picks. Over at Prize Picks, they can get you real money on sports action. At Prize Picks, they know that when you want a quick fix on the daily fantasy side, Prize Picks is the place to go. Prize Picks makes it easy to get in on the action. You can now win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. Plus, the holiday season, they're giving away $30 million in rewards during Picksmas and offering you 2 free picks in December. And when your picks hit, Prize Picks makes it easy to cash out. You can get your money in as fast as 15 minutes. My picks, how about a Brady Tkachuk goal? How about Brady over 3 shots and a half in a game? And how about Linus Ullmark over saves? It's so simple to make my picks and have fun with friends while potentially catching out fast. Download the app and use code LOCKEDONNHL and get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's right, $50 instantly. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, welcome back to the Postcast. I'm Ross Levitan here breaking down a 3-2 overtime win. Oh my goodness. I'm learning it's hard to type questions while you're reading off ads. Man, we'll get to the chat here in a minute. We got a lot of great questions coming in here after a thrilling win. Like in the third period, I'm like, let's get this to overtime. Let's get a point. I mean, all my bets were in regulation, but I was like, let's just get this to overtime. Let's get a point. Let's bank it, and let's get away we go. And that's what the Ottawa Senators did tonight. Cannot wait to dive into this one further with you guys because this is the sign of a good team, right? When you don't have your best stuff, and all of a sudden, you still find a way to win. Anthony writes in, does Ullmark run the table on this road trip? Now, we've already broken down, right? There's a back-to-back this weekend, and then they're off until the following Saturday when they start a back-to-back in Winnipeg and then in Minnesota. Look, if I'm the head coach, yeah, of course I'm running with Linus Ullmark. But look at this. We got Jacko jumping on. Jack, I knew Jack couldn't stay away. Jack, if you're here watching this right now, I'm DMing you the link right now. And to answer your question, Anthony, I would be starting Ullmark both games, but here's what I'll say. We're not in the room. Well, Pilsy was this morning, briefly. If Linus Ullmark thinks he can go, he can go. But if Linus Ullmark wants the night off, who the hell are we to say, no, you're playing? Linus Ullmark has been all that and more this stretch. If he feels like one out of this weekend is enough, sure. But at the same time, you got 5 days off after. Empty the tank. This is going to be a really good, interesting conversation. I think if Anton Forsberg's healthy, it's an absolute no-brainer. You're going to play Forsberg and Ullmark each game. But with Levi Marilainen, I mean, that's throwing him to the wolves, whether it's Vancouver or Edmonton. If Linus Ullmark wants to play both games, Linus Ullmark should play both games. Wally writes in 8-0-1 in Ullmark's last 9. I mean, the proof's in the pudding right there. Outrageous the way this guy's playing right now. And the way he's playing isn't just good because his save percentage is high. It's the quality of saves that he's making and the lack of rebounds that he's popping out. He looks incredible. And it makes you wonder, like, how did that Philly game even happen? How did that Philly game even happen? But that's neither here nor there. That's ancient history at this point. What we know tonight is that Linus Ullmark is at the top of his game. And I'm feeling really good about making my Vezina pick for Linus Ullmark. This guy's incredible. Sens fan advance as they cheered when they saw Pillsy. The shout out from Kenzie. She is just absolutely unbelievable. And we're so happy that she's doing the broadcast and that she's doing such a great job. The cherry on top, and Sam Cicerello does a great job producing for TSN. They put us on when we were in Minnesota last year. Now, I'm not going to have the same fortune because Sportsnet, they're too big time for us, national broadcasters and all that. And that Jets Sens game will be a national broadcast. We got a double dip. I knew that JM would come through. What's up, buddy? How's Calgary?
It's good. I got like 5 minutes before like my battery dies.
Dude,
so
we just want to hear from you. I saw your boots on the ground.
Yeah.
I had to get you in. And we got our guy Jack Richardson here too. What's up, fellas?
Yeah, man. So I excuse me in advance for the cameo appearance before my phone dies, but all I just want to say, I keep thinking of this one quote that Travis Green said during the post-game pressers. I don't know if they're out yet, but he said 3 weeks ago, this team wouldn't win this type of game. And he's absolutely right. Like, they did not play well. They went through stretches where they didn't have shots, and it was a very sloppy game. It was not perfect at all. You guys probably saw my tweet that Tim Stützle was telling Sportsnet it was probably one of the worst games they played all year, and they still won. Like, it's a complete 180 from what this fan base and the team was experiencing about a month ago, where they were not confident in themselves and they had played these good games but didn't get the results. How many games can we say the Senators played this year where they didn't play that well and they still got a result? Like, this might be the first time that's happened all year. So I think the fact that they were able to get it, and that's their fifth win, that's their season high fifth win of the season consecutively. Look, I think for this team, like, that's a feather in their cap. That's something that they're going to hang on to for a bit. And this road trip is going exactly the way that I thought it would. I thought they'd get wins in Seattle. I thought they'd get wins in Calgary. I think they're going to drop one of the two games on the weekend. But this, if you're thinking for this team, like, you need them to get points, you need them to keep themselves in pace for that wild card or whatever you want them to finish. You need these wins on this road trip. And I think they're off to a good start. Bit of a ramble. I got to hop out now, but I just had to say my 2 cents.
Yo, you're the man. That's Julian McKenzie from The Athletic. Go check out his most recent article. He was boots on the ground for Carter Yakimchuk's game last night as well. That was awesome. And now, Jack, when's the last time you've seen a performance like Linus Ullmark? I mean, let's start there.
Listen, man. And Ullmark, like, I've run out of things to say, Ross. I tweeted out last game that he's going to win the Vezina, and that got some reaction. Tweeted out that this team's different now. Lots of differences going on here. I would like to address something. I am not in an RV. I'm in my parents' living room here. So I am in Ottawa. I'm not in Brockville right now. So I was able to see the game from a different perspective tonight, Ross, than me sitting on my couch watching alone on the TV. I was at a restaurant with a lot of Sens fans, a lot more than I thought. And the eruption, not only when Brady Tkachuk scored in overtime, when Ridley Gregg scored in the third period shorthanded, was electric. And that, to me, is what's so exciting about this 5-game win streak, is the buzz around the city of Ottawa. People are excited about this hockey team for the first time since probably 2017, maybe late 2016. It's exciting, Ross, and I had to jump on with you here because I couldn't let you do this solo, man. This is crazy. I was going to sit down and tune into the postcast. I saw you were doing it solo. I didn't know. I'm on Christmas here just with my family, but I wanted to jump in because, man, it's just Ullmark just makes this team better in every capacity, don't you think?
If they lost, you wouldn't have jumped on. I know, Jack. You would have let me sink all by myself. I don't know if you caught Pillsy though. This guy, he deserved that too. How about the shout out from Kenzie too? Not just a hey, we're coming in from commercial, let's get some establishing shots. For everyone who's locked on Senators, Pillsy's in the building, and those two actually got to hang out this morning. Kenzie brought Pillsy into I'm sure he'll explain it more tomorrow on the pod, but brought him into like the truck, and he got to see all like how the sausage is made. And he's like, I didn't want to go in there and assume anyone knew who I was. And the producer's like, dude, you don't have to introduce yourself. So all-time beauty day for Pillsy too, eh?
That's so cool. So I gotta be honest, there was no sound, so I didn't know what was going on with the sound and everything.
We'll get you the clip. We'll get you the clip.
Okay, great. Like that's awesome for Pillsy. And it also started, I'm sure you touched on it, a morning skate with Brady Tkachuk going up and just you know, I'm sure Pillsy will touch on it tomorrow. I don't want to obviously steal what happened for him, but man, like right after that, I'm not gonna lie, like that wasn't in place before, but right after Pillsy told us that happened, I was like, you know what, Brady Tkachuk is scoring tonight. So we hit the Brady Tkachuk anytime goal, and that hits. I also think you've hit on it before here, Ross, but is Tristan Jarry a little upset about two of the 5 goals that went in the net tonight? Because, I mean, 2 of them, like, literally were exactly what he's talking about, needs to get out of the game. So, to me, I don't know, man. Just an exciting night. I have a question for you, Ross. Are you running out of things to say about the Ottawa Senators? Because a 5-game heater, 9-2-1 since November 23rd, November 24th. This is a hot streak. They're on fire right now.
When I don't have something to say, I just say, what would Tristan Jarry think about those goals?
It's almost impossible to stop.
It's almost impossible to stop.
You got to get it out of the game. Get it out of the game.
It's almost impossible to stop.
You can't stop Brady Tkachuk's side door when he's got a 2-on-1. You just can't do it.
Hey, you know what the best part was? The best part was seeing Huberdeau kind of go to the ref after his goal, and Huberdeau is the one who scored in the third period to tie it.
I know.
Like, you scored the same goal. Anyway, oh man, there's just so many things to like. I was watching this game tonight with a Sens fan who had been estranged for a little bit, but he's back. I've got him back on the wagon, like many Sens fans should be. And the other person was a Leafs fan. And I'm warning him, look out. Not like they're coming for the Leafs, but just keep an eye on the Sens.
You don't want to play the Sens in a 1-8 matchup.
I don't think you do. You do, because this team, like Tim Toothless said post-game, I haven't seen any of the clips or anything, but he said that this wasn't their best game, and he's right. Especially from him, I think. He was pretty quiet, mixed around the top 6 a little bit.
And still gets an assist on the game winner.
And not only an assist, gets a shot on goal, which I was excited about. I like Tim Stutzler's shots on goal more than I like assists right now.
I was yelling at him at the 2-on-1. I think he could have heard me from Calgary. I said, shoot the puck.
Dude, it's just so fun, man. Like watching this team win, there's nothing better. And I think everyone in the chat agrees. Like, it's something that I think we've earned. So Saturday night, Olmark Vezina odds were plus. Dude, like, it's like I saw
they've gone from plus 10,000 and now they're plus 1,800.
I don't know what his save percentage is at after tonight, but it was 9. It was you posted it was 881 to up to 915 in a 2-week, 3-week stretch.
The Yeti.
Yeah, man, it's so personally, because I'm on my phone, I feel like I'm a little bit more candid right now.
You're buzzing. This is perfect.
So I from that Vancouver game, which is when I was there in person, last time I was in Ottawa, came back here for the break. Since then they're 9-2-1 now, and I hadn't had a drink. I was just going a little bit of a cleanse. I was worried that my first drink, I was going, if they lose again, I don't think I'm going to be able to have another beer.
Yeah,
but they won tonight, so we're good. But it's crazy. Like that to me encompasses how crazy this stretch has been. It's like how long they've been able to do it. And I think now I'm done calling it a stretch. I think this is the team that we're seeing here. Like, they're finding ways to win, depth goals, and then the big boys come to play when it matters most.
Yeah.
And what more can you say about Brady Tkachuk, man? Like, what 3 overtime goals in 32 games is unbelievable.
Yeah, and 2 in 3. Let's go.
How about that?
Go. Jack, you're sticking around for some standouts?
Sure, I got you.
Hell yeah. Well, first, allow me to tell you that this postcast is brought to you by Select Quote. If you're looking for life insurance, Select Quote is there for you. The World Series, the Super Bowl, the Stanley Cup Finals, watching Linus Ullmark play on a random Thursday in December. The world's top athletes get play in these top-level sporting events thanks to one thing, it's teamwork. And teamwork can also protect your financial legacy and your family's future. Select Quote's licensed insurance agents are the perfect teammates when shopping for customized, affordable life insurance. They can get you in the right policy to keep your financial legacy safely in your family's end zone. Select Quote is one of America's leading insurance brokers with nearly 40 years of experience, helping over 2 million customers find over $700 billion in coverage since 1985. Get the right life insurance for you for less at selectquote.com/LockedOnNHL. Go to selectquote.com/LockedOnNHL today to get started. That's selectquote.com/LockedOnNHL. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Let me head over to my FanDuel account because I was a spray and pray tonight. I was all over the board. I was having some fun. And get this, tonight's Brady Tkachuk winner. Did I have Brady Tkachuk goal? Yes. Did I have Brady Tkachuk over shots on goal? And did the game winner register his 4th shot? You're darn right it did. Brady Tkachuk was the man tonight. And if you don't want to miss a hunch, or if you just need to get in on the action, FanDuel is the place. New customers who bet $5 will get started with $150 in bonus bets if that first $5 bet hits. So why not just bet Brady Tkachuk anytime goal scorer? The guy is automatic. Brady Tkachuk anytime goal scorer over at FanDuel. Never miss a hunch and make every moment more over at FanDuel. New customers who bet $5 will get started with $150 if that first bet wins. That's over with our friends at FanDuel.com, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL and the Locked On Podcast Network. All right, Jack, we're here. Didi saying we need a t-shirt with those words. I'm not sure what words they're assuming, but what I'm going to say, you know, the just do it, like the just small font for Nike. How about just impossible to stop? Because then if you know, you know, but it's a bit of the Jari in there, but also the Ottawa Senators right now are impossible to stop.
They find ways to win here, and it's not just the 5-game win streak. It's the 9-2-1 is a elite stretch. This isn't just a hot streak. They found some gold. You know, Ullmark being 7-0-0 in his last 7 games is what's propelling it, obviously. But I think what's cool to me, before we get to our Sen Central standouts here, is how the young guys who are not super young anymore are starting to learn how to win hockey games. And you know, you can preach all the right things. I was a DJ Smith fan. I'll put it that way. Like, I was a DJ Smith guy. I liked what he was doing with the young, like with Timmy. I thought Sanderson, maybe Shabbat was the only one I disagreed with, the deployment and everything like that. But everyone else, I was happy with how he was coaching them and preaching everything. But you can't teach winning unless you've got a guy back there who is going to stop everything he sees within reason. The 2 goals on Linus Ullmark tonight are ones that if he stopped, I would start questioning how good, you know, any other goalie in the league was. I was going to start going around saying, how is he going to stop every single puck? Because he couldn't possibly get to those. So my point is getting a guy back there who can weather the storm for 10, 15, 20 minutes it is during a game where they're not going to have their best game. It is clearly teaching these guys what it takes to win. And Tkachuk getting 3 overtime winners. Think of those 3 games, Ross. It's Boston, where, yeah, the Sens dominated in the 3rd period, but Ullmark was the story probably the first 2 periods in his old barn, in his old building, his old team. Gets that big save in overtime, kicks it out to Tkachuk, overtime winner. Pittsburgh, Ullmark on the back-to-back, second half of back-to-back, gets just unbelievable saves, 1 soft goal, but saves everything else. And then tonight, obviously, just solid. Doesn't steal the game for you, but gives you a chance to win. So to me, that's what the team is learning. And I think having a guy like Ullmark back there is changing that for them. I think that's what's standing out to me right now during this 5-game win streak and during this overall stretch.
Dude, and don't undersell it. That he didn't just snap it out. That was the best outlet pass the Senators made all night. And I know it's 3-on-3. There's more ice to work with, but that was tape to tape, 2 lines deep. Like, that was an incredible pass.
He made up for not getting an assist on the one in Boston where he kicked it out to Tkachuk. Like, this time he was like, you know what, I'm going to do it myself. And you know the Thanos meme where he's like, fine, I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
He was thinking that way, I guess. So like, it's just, it's funny, man. I'm sitting there with, again, I mentioned it, my friend who is kind of estranged from the Sens, who's sort of keeping in touch with what they're doing. And then the Leafs fan, I'm like, I'm laughing every time he gets in the Sens zone because they carry the play for a little bit and then they kind of sag a little bit. And oh yeah, they've got a Vezina winner in the pipes. He's that good, and he's making fans confident. I can't imagine what he's doing for that locker room.
Oh, and especially after they had a team 890 last year. Like, both Korpisalo and Forsberg were 890 goalies last year. What's Ullmark in his last 8? A 980? Like, this guy is incredible. His save percentage tonight was 935, and his save percentage in his last 8 games went down.
So, Ross, I don't know if you have like that. That's crazy. First of all,
that's crazy.
I don't know if you've got Vladar's save percentage. I've got the stats actually right in front of me, but just kind of like off the top of my head.
For the year, he's 885.
Or tonight, like what was he? What was it? 9
tonight, I can pull this up for sure. 897.
So like, not great. Obviously, Ullmark outplayed him, but I'm saying like it's kind of like not.
Oh my God. Boys, we have the most incredible photos from tonight's game, and I'm gonna tee one up. But sorry, Jack, go on about Vladar.
I was just gonna say, when you compare the two goalies tonight, save percentage wise, and the stats don't probably look that different. Where you're saying, yeah, Ullmark was better, but the stats you're like probably not that much better. But when you watch the game, when you're seeing it, I never saw Linus Ullmark panic tonight, and I've never seen him panic in the last month. He's just been that locked in. Vladar was all over the place. He was crazy. I cannot believe the Calgary Flames didn't play Dustin Wolf tonight. I don't get that. Not saying that Vladar was the reason they lost. I'm just saying, like, when you're going against a team like the Sens who are hot, playing a goalie like Linus Ullmark, why would you not throw your stud goalie in net? I don't get that.
Bro, does this guy look panicked to you? Does that look like a panicked goalie?
That looks like a guy who's finding his groove, who's comfortable in Ottawa, and who's going to carry this team to the ceiling. Whatever that ceiling is, I don't know what it is, but Ross, we talked for hours on end about the possibilities of what Ullmark could do, and it was always if. And now I find myself saying if he keeps it up, but he's doing it right now. So let's just enjoy this ride, because this is so impressive what Linus Ullmark is doing, and it's propelling the team, like I said, to the stretch they've been on.
We always get our photos from USA Today. That's our official Locked On Podcast Network photographers. And I need to find this guy's name because this is one of the all-time photos. Sergei Belsky does the photos in Calgary. We got another good one that I'm going to make the photo because I don't want to do Brady dirty and keep the one that I have right now, as great as it is. But I wanted a toothless Brady Tkachuk, right? Like that's what we came here for. And the photo that I've got now of Brady Tkachuk, like, let's just get to our Sen Central standouts because I think both these guys are going to be involved in this segment. So why don't you lead it off here? And first, let me just pull this photo up. This is going to be the one for tonight. How elite is that, dude?
Dude, and it's perfect. I'm going to start with the captain. I like too that it's because he's. I don't want to say he's the face of it, but.
That's some face.
I was gonna say like the old face. I don't know if Amazon would have liked it now, but he's currently the face of the season 2 that they're promoting. They haven't named any other player that's gonna be followed for the face-off inside the NHL Amazon Prime series that aired this past fall, following a few NHL stars, and I might add like very prominent stars that are followed around the league. The fact that Brady Tkachuk is not only going to be followed, but the guy that they're announcing as the season 2 headliner says a lot to me. It says a lot about what has kind of transpired the last few weeks. Like, he's got 3 overtime winners this season, but also 2 since Michael Andlauer came out and backed him up. And they're 5-0 since Andlauer accused the New York Rangers, the free-falling New York Rangers, of soft tampering, trying to get the captain to the Big Apple. So to me, I think that might be maybe not a season turning point because the team had already turned it around at that point. But to me, that's a franchise turning point where instead of getting your owner going on the airwaves in Toronto in the middle of a Tuesday afternoon, talking about maybe moving the team, if the McDonald's doesn't do well in one spot, you move it to another spot. Now the owner is coming out at the Board of Governors meeting, whatever it's called, saying the biggest franchise in the NHL is tampering, trying to get our captain. He made headwaves doing that, and the Sens are 5-0 since he did that. You can say it's a correlation, say it's not a correlation. I think it's fun to follow because that's a complete shift in dynamic. And to me, Tkachuk getting the nod for the Amazon series, coming out and saying he loves it here, doing all that, it all speaks to the same narrative that this guy bleeds Senator Black. And I like saying that. I like seeing tweets that say that. He was born to be a Senator. He's the leader of this team. He's getting older, getting more mature, and he's getting clutch. This guy, I think I saw a stat. I don't have it in front of me, but he has 10 overtime career winners or something. And his dad and older brother have a combined 9 or something like that. He has more than his family combined in overtime winners. And this team hasn't even sniffed important games yet to this date.
Yeah, bro. Brady's got 10 now. Keith's got 8, and Matthew's got 2. So they're tied now. Brady versus the rest of the Tkachuk. Super elite, and I'm glad that you gave Brady some shine there as your Sen Central standout. 3 hits, 4 shots, 1 goal, 9 stitches, and 1 tooth somewhere in the Saddle Dome.
Was it 9 stitches?
That's what he told Kenzie Lalonde right after the game.
And 1 tooth?
1 tooth.
My God, that's crazy. That's because we all saw it. Like the restaurant went they were like, oh, like did
bananas.
Crazy.
And I tweeted out earlier when Pillsy told me that story. I didn't want to ruin the story for him, but I just said we are so lucky that Brady Tkachuk is an Ottawa Senator, and he made me look pretty good for that tweet later on in the evening. So shout out to Brady Tkachuk for the elite performance that he had tonight. And I said in the tweet too, not to mention he's 25 years old. He's already top 10 in goals, assists, points, PIMs, even strength goals, power play goals, game-winning goals, shots, hits, hat tricks, you name it. Brady Tkachuk is top 10 in franchise history. Someone who I hope one day is top 5 in franchise history is Linus Ullmark in all sorts of categories. This guy's my first Sen Central standout tonight. Absolutely incredible performance, 29 saves. And what I love most is as the game went on, he got better and better as well. Made 12 out of 13 saves in the third period. And that 1 save in overtime was a high danger chance right in front. Squeezes the pads and then the wherewithal to say, hey, that was a 2-on-1. That means we got numbers the other way. I'm going to send this up as soon as possible. Love that from Linus Ullmark. I feel like we've talked about him enough, but it'd be remiss not to have him as the other Sen Central standout to start this one off.
He just swallows pucks. That's my saying now. He just finds a way to freeze it. My best example, I don't know what the time was, but I know it was an icing by the 4th line, and they had a bit of a scramble in front of the net, and he pounced on it. And it was more emphatic than you see him do. It looked like he was panicking, but it's him identifying what's going on the ice, identifying who's out there for either team, and saying, hey, I have the opportunity to get these guys off the ice. They don't have to ice it. They don't have to chip it out. Just jump on the puck, get a whistle, move on to the next play. Ross, I can't say enough about Linus Ullmark, man. Like, this is a goalie-friendly show, and the ungoalie-friendly games that have had to be broken down on the Postcast the last few years, even this season, there's been some bad ones.
Yeah.
Getting this kind of reward from it is unbelievable. He is one of the best goalies I've ever seen play in an Ottawa Senators jersey. And I'm confident saying that now.
I don't think it's a hot take to say that he could be the best ever.
Look, I wasn't old enough to remember Dominic Hasek.
He played 40 games.
He did. And listen, Ullmark's not even
he had
there
M&Ms falling out of his pocket for one of them.
like Ullmark's not even there yet, let's be honest. Like, it's still young. The contract's still young, but everything about this guy screams he's going to be here and be elite for a long time.
I need to clarify. Obviously, Dominic Hasek is going to be the best goalie to ever play for the Sens. I mean, for the Sens, with the Senators, while in Ottawa, okay? Because then you could throw Tom Barrasso's name at me. That guy won a Vezina in the 80s with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Are we going to count that? No, with the Ottawa Senators, where it's number 1, Craig Anderson, number 2, Patrick Lalime right now. There's no reason why Linus Ullmark can't be in that conversation by the end of the 5 years that he signed for, and hopefully longer after that.
This is completely, like, I know Hasek is considered by some to be the best goalie ever. How many Vezinas does Hasek have? I'm actually, like, just curious.
I think 3.
Wow. Okay. All right. That's
maybe,
a lot.
Maybe 4. I've got it right here.
That's a lot.
Oh,
Olmark's already like,
dude, you know how many Vezinas Hasek has?
How many?
6.
Okay, never mind then. Because if it was 3, I was gonna be like, listen, if Ullmark finds his way to a second one, then you can, in like the era they're playing in, you can argue. Listen, obviously Hasek's unreal, but you're right though, Ross. Like if he
Hasek was a 2-time Hart Trophy winner.
He won 2 Hearts.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay, we gotta wait. We got a ways to go.
Listen.
We're getting carried away. I love it.
Listen, listen. The funny thing is, none of us said like Ullmark's better than Hasek.
No.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
given the era, what Ullmark's doing is ridiculous. Like the 9, whatever it is over his last 8-9 games now, 950, 960, whatever it is unbelievable given how easily goals go in these days. Like it's not like a, and I'm going back to like Carey Price to me when in 2015 when he stumped the Sens, that Hamburglar run was at the peak of his game. He won the Hart Trophy that year. Goal scoring was really down. Jamie Benn won the Art Ross with 86 points.
I know Carl had 82 that year on defense for Ottawa.
And he was top 5.
Norris. Yeah.
He was top 5 in league scoring or something like that.
Yeah,
so
he's 5th, I think.
The league's come a long way scoring wise. So getting this kind of performance from Ullmark while scoring is still on the rise from everyone is ridiculous. He's just been that good. Do you start him Saturday or Sunday? What do you identify as his game? Because I want to see Levy in one of these games.
Do you?
Yeah, because to me...
Hey, how about this? You win Saturday, Levy plays Sunday. You lose Saturday, you go to Ullmark and say, hey, are you comfortable playing? We'd like you to play, but if you don't want to or you feel like you've had a lot of hockey right now, then we'll play Levy. That's how I do it. But if you win Saturday, and Ullmark's playing Saturday, like he's playing Saturday.
I think so.
And if he wins, then I mean, you're playing with free money. You start the trip 3-0.
So, like, this is into a prospect debate here, and honestly, I think it's kind of timely because Anton Forsberg's name's kind of been mentioned in some trade rumors, which is crazy.
But dude, we're going for 6 in a row. Like, we also have the streak, right?
I think Ullmark gets the first game no matter what.
But then you're going for 7 if he wins.
So to me, it's I'm looking at it in a different lens. I think Ross, Linus Ullmark's career in Boston did not start as we're hiring you or we're signing you as the tandem goalie. It was, you're going to be our starter. And then all of a sudden came along number 1, Jeremy Swayman, wearing number 1, I should mention. Levi Marilainen's wearing number 1 for the Ottawa Senators, also a young goalie. I do not hate the idea of what I think is the Sens' best goaltending prospect being a backup and potentially in the years to come forming a tandem with Linus Ullmark. I would like to see him in one of these games. I don't hate throwing him to the Wolves in Edmonton because to me, honestly, I'm not going to lie, the Oilers are absolutely rolling right now. I know we're looking a few days ahead here, but to me, I would give Ullmark Vancouver on Saturday, where he scored a goal, by the way, a few seasons ago. I think it was might have been even last year. I would give him
Levy. If Levy plays against the Oilers, his first 3 NHL games will be against Carolina on the road, Florida on the road, and then Edmonton on the road. Welcome to the show, kid.
Feed him to the Wolves. And I got to be honest, I remember that Carolina game. He was okay. I don't remember.
No, he's good. He was good. He led 3 goals on 37 shots and had an OT loss.
And there you go. So like
Florida, he was not good. He got pulled.
What do you want to see from your young goalie? You want to see him be able to not like, don't get caved in. I think just give him one of these games. I think it's a good test. Go into Christmas, see how you're feeling. Forsberg might be okay for the next road trip. Then we can talk about Winnipeg, Minnesota, which scares me a little bit more. And I think there's a bit more to do with that.
Ullmark's playing Winnipeg. You can't have 5 days off and not come back with your starter.
So I know, but also the only caveat I would give you, if Philip Gustafson's healthy for Minnesota, he's
struggling a little bit more now.
But so that's why I think Ullmark wants the starting net for Sweden at the Four Nations.
He's fighting with Markstrom right now.
Do you think Gustafson's sitting?
He's second right now
in save percentage.
Well, but I don't look at the season stats, Jack. I only look since November 25th when the season really started.
Well, so do I, because I put him up for the Vezina. So,
I got it up right now since November 25th, and Ullmark's 8-0-1 and Markstrom's 7-1-1. They're the 2 best records in the NHL.
The Devils are a problem, which is a team the Sens might face if they sneak in. By the way, so we'll table that. But I should say if he's going to play,
sounds like a trip to New York City.
We'll go to the Tri-State. Why not?
Hey, sounds like it.
if he's going to play back-to-back, I think Winnipeg, Minnesota makes more sense. Go against Hellebuck, Gustafsson, the two front runners for the Vezina right now. Get your guy in there against them. That's the ones Ullmark would want to play. So this weekend, I think just give Levy the Edmonton game. See what he can do. See if he can, the team's going to play for him. But to me, and I know this is a different discussion, but like Levy's the guy. Levy's the guy I want to see with the Ottawa Senators moving forward. I think he's proven it. He's stayed healthy, and he just adds to that 2020 draft, man, which is like the a shockingly good draft class for the Ottawa Senators. So we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit because it doesn't matter.
It's far ahead, dude.
It's the guy who's going to play 15 games if Linus Ullmark's playing this way. So to me, that's what it is. Do you want to snap it around twice for?
Yeah. I got another one. I'll go with Nick Cousins. That was a huge goal at the end of the first period. They needed that so bad. It felt like one of those tight checking where like Calgary was willing to lull them to sleep if they could, and they scored first. So for Cousins to pounce on that loose puck the way he did, that was quick, right? Boom, wrist shot, and right when it dropped, it was in the back of the net. Like initially, I thought it was almost tipped, but you watch on the replay and it was blocked down. Boom, it's in, and then he gets a fight too. And I thought he was good on the forecheck. So I'll give Nick Cousins some love here as my second standout.
He deserves some shouts. He's been a bit of a whipping boy, I think, up front for the Sens, like him and Amadio, to be honest. And
dude, ever since he missed those 2 games with illness, he's been good. Like he hasn't even been borderline. Cousins been good the last stretch.
I mean, he's got 3 goals in this stretch they're on. So yeah, he's been great complimentary scoring. Really weird position he's in, and the same with Amadio. Like they don't kill penalties, they don't play on the power play. Even strength is their bread and butter. So when they're not doing much at 5-on-5 and even getting caved in, it's worthy to get a little bit of criticism. But they've turned it around a lot.
5 points in Cousins' last 9 games since sitting, plus 7 over that stand as well.
You'll take that 7 days a week, I should say. 5 days during a work week. Yeah, he's been great. He was going to be my next nod.
Okay.
I've got another one though that I said last time on the postcast. I know I missed the Kraken one, but I was on for the game before. I mentioned Jake Sanderson kind of sheepishly a little bit, being, he didn't maybe stand out that much, but I think he deserved a little bit of a nod. I'm going to go with him again, and those other guys maybe up front, especially. I'm thinking Ridley Gregg maybe, who deserves a nod as well. But to me, Jake Sanderson is really settling his game down. Again, I didn't get a full locked in version of this game. I wasn't locked on to the entire game. I did see a lot of what I liked about Jake Sanderson's game overall. I think him moving the puck is obviously his strong suit, and getting the puck out of the zone with his feet, with his hands, with his head, whatever it is. I'm seeing a lot more of that the last 2 games. So to me, it's more of a uptrend. Like I'm seeing Jake Sanderson kind of get back to what he was early on this season last year. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Power play is another discussion for everyone involved in the power play. Like it feels like as soon as they get the man advantage, it just feels like it kind of goes completely dark. And then they get back to 5-on-5 and it's, oh, this team's good again. You know what I mean? So he's part of that for sure. The power play needs some work, but especially on the road and during this road trip. But to me, Jake Sanderson, I'm just feeling a bit more confident when he's got the puck on his stick, when he's in his own zone. And I'm pretty sure he's doing well on there. Yeah, there he is at the top. And the guy I kind of snubbed a little bit, Ridley Gregg, who also
he had a sick game. He was awesome tonight.
Ridley Gregg was great.
That'll be our team standout to wrap up our standouts. Will be Ridley Gregg because he deserves a nod. He was awesome out there. The only guy who we weren't on that was right at the top was Brady Tkachuk, but that guy won him the game and looked like an animal. What's the analytics for losing a tooth and getting 9 stitches, eh?
And an overtime winner. Who's the last player to do that? Who's the last player to get stitched up, lose a tooth, and get the OT winner? I'm sure it's happened recently somewhat, but very cool. It's great that it's great.
Also, a couple other shout outs here as we've got the stat card up. People can watch that. Shane Pinto, 14 for 23 in the dot tonight, 61%. And he snapped back a key D-zone draw with 4 seconds left after that kind of tricky play where the puck was bouncing high in the air and Ullmark froze it. Then Pinto goes in, wins that draw. And then he actually started overtime, snapped back the draw in a second effort. It was kind of a scramble draw. He got the puck back for possession and then immediately changed, and Brady came out on the ice. So I want to give Pinto some credit there because we always talk about G being unreal in the dot, and he always is. But I think Shane Pinto is turning himself into an elite defensive-minded centerman in the National Hockey League.
I mean, he did win the best defensive forward when he was at North Dakota.
Know that.
And
yep.
Also,
by the way, Brady went 5 for 5 in the dot, all against Mikael Backlund tonight.
Wow.
The guy who high-sticked him in the face.
So, what? I mean, we can kind of get into it. Like they're on a 5-game heater here.
Just before we move past that, because Backlund, I actually want to give him some credit. There were 2 times later in the game where there were scrums, and Brady was kind of in it. And Backlund, it almost looked like he kind of like pulled Brady out, almost as like a nice thing, like, hey, dude, your face looks mangled, and I did that. So credit to Mikael Backlund, good captain in the league.
Good call. Yeah, good call out. I think that's. I was wondering about that. Like, he should have been wearing a fishbowl. Like,
dude, no fishbowl, no cage. He's like, just put me back out there. I got a game winner to score.
That was ugly. That was really ugly. What do you think about them mixing up the top 6 a little bit? Because I did notice that. I did notice a Timmy.
Josh struggled tonight. Norris struggled tonight. 2 for 9 in the dot, and he missed his assignment on the first goal against.
I thought so too. I didn't notice him on the first goal against, but I also noted, like, on the power play specifically, noticed him a little bit. I'm like,
4-minute power play, had no shot attempts from his spot. Like, can we tee one up, please?
And it's not even him. Like, I know he's not a guy who's going to create his own shot necessarily for the most part, especially on the power play. But the play can't die on his stick, and I feel like that's been happening a little bit too much. So Norris is really interesting to me, man, because you get like these great heaters where he goes, 4 goals in 3 games, 3 goals in 5 games, whatever it is. But then you get now, I don't think he's scored since the Detroit game, right? And it's been a while. Like, it's been a few weeks now, been a few games, 5 games, 6 games, where you need him. You need him to chip in, and I know he will. Like, he might score next game. He might score 3 times this weekend. And you're like, oh, there's Josh Norris, and he's on pace for 35, 40 goals. So to me, it's a really interesting balance. I don't know how you feel about it, Ross, but it's when Timmy's not going with Gaudette and Giroux on his wing, it's easy. And I think the coaching staff has showed that where a game or two where Norris doesn't look great at even strength, they're not shy to kind of move him around a little bit.
Yeah, no, and they did that to start the second period. I mentioned while I was solo for a couple minutes, you had Stützle with Tkachuk and Batherson. So, hey, I wouldn't mind seeing that. And look, it's no secret that they signed David Perron for a reason, to be a guy who can contribute as a middle 6, probably a top 6 guy, and he's not there. And as good as Adam Gaudette's been, and 13 goals speaks for itself, you'd probably like a little more talent next to Tim Stützle. There's no doubt. So to put him with Batherson, there's how you get it.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, Timmy too. Like, we can't just harp on Norris. I think Timmy was pretty quiet too overall. Like, you can point to everything to me is going to come back to that power play. If they lost this game, you're looking at that 4-minute power play in the second period where they did nothing. And I said it out loud to my friends that I was with. I was like, if they don't score here, it's kind of, I'm nervous. And then I remembered, oh yeah, they got Linus Ullmark in net. But before that, it's just offensively, I think there's during this win streak, they haven't needed to score or haven't had to score more than 3 goals, but there have been some challenges offensively, I think, during this 5-game win streak that once they lose, if they ever lose again, will come to fruition. I think a little bit, right? Like, if they don't find a way to score on that power play, and then Calgary gets a few in the second at the end of the period, whatever it is. If I know what I'm saying, but they haven't been shooting the lights out necessarily. It's been a very defensively conscious effort the last few weeks during this win streak. So to me, that's kind of what I'm looking at against Vancouver. You're probably going to get Demko, even Lankinen. Lankinen blanked them basically last time. So Vancouver's a tough opponent this is where the gauntlet starts to me. This is where it starts, and offensively, they need to be clicking because they might not be clicking defensively. So that's where I'm at. I don't know how you feel about offensively, but I'm a little bit worried about that.
Hey, time will tell. We're not going to nitpick too hard on a team that's won 5 in a row, and they're doing they said before the streak, they said we need to start winning games 2-1, 3-2, and that's what they're doing. They're shutting out teams, and when they do allow a goal, they're bouncing right back. So I'm just so dialed into this team right now. And I think the fan base is speaking for itself. The views are way up. The watch time's way up. And that's because the team is so starved, and the fan base too, for a successful team on the ice. And I mean, talk about running out of things to say. I just feel like I'm in uncharted waters right now, territory. And like I was telling Pillsy, the last 5-game win streak was in April, and like they were already out of it. It was already gone. Like to be in the mix and watching Tampa win all these games. They've won 4 in a row now too. Like you're keeping pace. You're staying in the mix, and some teams are falling out, and you're not one of them. So that's all you can ask for. This team is guaranteed to be above 500 by the time the Christmas break comes. Like that's a huge win in and of itself.
If you would have told us that in October, we would have taken it 10 out of 10 times. Yeah. Now, obviously, I'm just like looking at if you had to pick something up, because obviously they're still scoring 3 goals a game, which is more than enough. It should be more than enough to win hockey games than it is, because you've got Ullmark back there. They're defending well for the most part. What sticks out to me, like that you mentioned that the vibe around the Sens is better and it's back and whatever it is. I'm noticing a lot of Ottawa Senators merch out there. And like I went to this is kind of a side note. I went to like a Christmas tree farm a few weeks ago, a little feature for CTV, and like every family I ran into, there was at least someone wearing something Ottawa Senators. And I don't know if I'm just noticing it more, if it's new ownership, maybe merchandise is a little bit more affordable, or what the team's doing better, whatever it is. I'm noticing it more that people are proud to be Ottawa Senators fans lately. And I'm noticing it, I'm back in Ottawa the last few days, noticing people walking around with toques, with sweaters, whatever it is, during the cold winter. There's a bit of a cold snap coming to Ottawa the next few days. And like, people are just excited about the Ottawa Senators, it feels like. And I think it's really cool that this is happening when they're away from the city for so long. Like it's going to be a month away from playing in Ottawa. And like, I'm still seeing people just decked out in Sens merch. I love it. Like, it's just great to see it. It's like a sense of pride.
Amazing. Sudsy saying he's seeing Sens merch in the GTA as well. Sens Army is alive and well. The Ottawa Senators win 3-2 in overtime to beat the Calgary Flames and win the season series 2-0 against the Flames. Jack, any final thoughts on today's postcast? Appreciate you jumping on too, man. This has been a blast.
Dude, I had to. Like, I saw, especially when I saw it was just you, I was like, dude, like, there's so much to talk about. I got to help you out a little bit here.
Well, you missed it. Pillsy was on for the first 15 or 10 minutes from the dome, and he got kicked out by security while he was on. It was amazing.
Okay, so you know what I'm going to do, actually? How do I flip? I'm on my phone here. It's a bit different. I'm trying to flip it around.
Flip it.
I had let's do this.
The RV.
Postcast queued up.
Hey, there it is.
Just a massive TV for this room. I'll talk to my dad about that after. But you know what? They like the Boxing Day sales. But yeah, I was going to tune in, so I'm excited to see what Pillsy has to say.
Yeah.
And
he was dialed in. He was awesome.
Let's just keep it rolling into Vancouver. Some turmoil in Vancouver. JT Miller and Elias Pettersson don't seem to like each other that much. I've been tuning into some Canucks media lately.
Oh, yeah, me too. Our boys at Locked On Canucks are all over it. It's sweet.
What do they think? Like, quickly. Like,
buddy, they're like, hey, if they can't coexist, trade them both. Like they just can't be on the same power play unit. Like, come on.
And I think it'd be a great bookend, because I mentioned the Canucks game that I was at, which was kind of rock bottom this season anyway.
Go watch that
really
Postcast.
How great! I watched it that night after coming back from the game. I was fuming. Imagine turning it, like, just kind of bookending this stretch with a dominant win in Vancouver. That's where I'm at. Sens are hot. 5-game win streak.
And the Sens lost. They lost 5-1 the last time in Vancouver last year too.
They don't do well in Vancouver, and quite honestly in Edmonton too. So let's see what they do. But I thought that kind of just on the road in general, and they've had pretty good wins here. So I'm really looking forward to this team just every single game. I can't wait till Saturday. Can't wait till Sunday. Then it's Christmas. So let's see what they do, Ross.
Amazing. That's Jack Richardson. I'm Ross Levitan. Let's get some Go Sens Go in the chat here after a 3-2 overtime win. And I mean, if Brady Tkachuk's going to look the way he does, at least he's got a happy flight to Vancouver. The Senators will be in action on Saturday. We'll have Locked On Senators for you tomorrow, a coherent Pillsy to break down that performance. And we're going to dive deep into Linus Ullmark and where he ranks and historically with the Ottawa Senators with this stretch right now. Thank you so much to the Glebe Central Pub for being a part of the postcast. Thank you to Jack Richardson. I'm Ross Levitan. You can find our Twitter handles below. This has been a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.